How are you feeling?
Sweat.
Yeah, but how are you feeling? So that's, with everything that's going on, that's how you're feeling, just sweat.
No, as in, that is what I'm feeling.
Someone who is in the public eye and has been for all their life, and I've said, how are you feeling about meeting them? And you've gone, sweat.
Your hands are huge.
Now your tune's changed, hasn't it?
Look at those.
Big old mitts
Like
on me.
individual, like Cumberland sausages.
I had to open up with a cold open just so you could get the vibe of that interview if you have not seen it yet. It is so good. It was so funny. One of the things that I love most about this interview is that they balanced the hilariousness of it all. I mean, if you have Prince Harry in front of you, you definitely want to bring out his wit, and they did a great job of that. He was on fire. He had so many zingers. He could give as good as he got. He was very funny. Everybody was just very funny. I also love the bit that the guys dressed up because they knew Harry was coming. And honestly, hell yeah, I would too. And Joe Marler even wore an H ring, which was the topic of conversation before Prince Harry got there. And then when he got there, he's like, it's a bit creepy, but I get it. He was so gracious about it. I hope they gave him that ring on his way out. Like, here's a gift from us to you. I mean, could you see Prince Harry wearing an H pinky ring? That would just be so iconic. So anyway, and every time he looks down, he could think about Joe Marler. So this interview was a lot of fun. They brought in JJ Chalmers from the Invictus Games. He is also a competitor and a friend of Prince Harry's. His segment was also very funny. I love that they opened the interview up and allowed someone else to come in and talk about Invictus in front of Prince Harry. And the reason I feel that way is because Prince Harry is the founder, or as Joe Marler said, he's the inventor. And Prince Harry is convinced that he struggled to spell inventor. Anyway, he's the founder of Invictus, and it's great for people to receive their flowers while they are still here to receive them. And I love the moment when Joe Marler asks, tell me about Invictus, and JJ Chalmers responds, and Prince Harry can hear the impact that his organization has had on him. I love that moment. Y'all, I just hopped in here and started talking, and I didn't introduce the channel, the video, myself, nothing. Okay, so let me not come in too cold. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Prince Harry's interview on the Joe Marler Will See You Now podcast with the host, Joe Marler, and his co-host, and I think they said research assistant, Jake. But the podcast is actually new to me. I've never watched it, but now I am interested. They are very funny. They're very funny. They're very witter. I know I'll never be a guest. They're very witty. But for the most part, they stayed on track. They were able to really get into some serious parts of the conversation, especially surrounding Invictus and the impact of having it in Birmingham and what Birmingham means to the Invictus organization, and how Birmingham is the source or the origin of the actual Invictus spirit in the hospital. And that was presented to us by JJ Chalmers. But in addition to that, it was just a very funny interview. From beginning to end. It's only about 40 to 41 minutes long, so I highly recommend checking it out in full. And I can only share so many clips here simply because that is also on YouTube, and I don't want to get in trouble for copyright. But again, since it's on YouTube, it's free. Feel free to go check it out, and it's linked in the description box below. So first thing I want to talk about before we even get into this, the guys were nervous. Joe Marler and Jake were nervous. They dressed up. And right when we get into the podcast episode, we have about 5 to 10 minutes. No, I don't think it was 10. It was definitely like 4 to 5 minutes of them pre-gaming, getting ready, not pre-gaming, like drinking, but like getting prepared to talk to Prince Harry, and how excited they were to talk to him. And something that I found to be funny is they didn't tell the person, wherever the studio is that they're recording, they didn't tell the person at the front that they would be having Prince Harry. They just said a guest. And they were like, does she know Prince Harry's gonna be here? And I'm just thinking about, like, let's say you're the receptionist at this studio, and they say, hey, we're going to have a guest that day. Make sure to let them in and buzz them up. And you're just expecting a guest, probably another rugby player, or probably somebody else, or another athlete, somebody you don't know, maybe you do know, what have you. And it's Prince freaking Harry. See, talk about the perks of the workplace. See, that is when I would be loyal to Joe Marler for the rest of my life. I would be his personal assistant from that point forward. Like, you know what? You were able to get me to meet Prince Harry. we're locked in forever. Good luck getting rid of me. I'm your employee for life. Now that's one hell of a person to open the door for. So I thought that part was funny. The fact that they dressed up and they wore ties, that is just so adorable. I hope Prince Harry has had an opportunity to actually watch the interview in full since having been on it, and seeing that part of the interview, because I know that had to bring a smile to his face. Now, something that Prince Harry did right out the gate is he let them know that he is no wallflower. You're not about to mow all over him with your wit and your banter and your humor. I can give as good as I can get. Why did this man tell Joe Marler that his hands look like, is it Cumberland sausages? I don't know what that is. I eat Eckrich. And I also eat East Texas hot links. Those are really the only sausages I know of, and andouille sausage. So I had to look up Cumberland sausage. And when I tell you I let out a cackle, I said, see, right out the gate, me and you got a problem. That part was funny. And then we move over into Joe Marler wants to make sure he refers to Prince Harry by his whole name. So he goes, Prince Harry, what is your full name? And y'all know the royals have the longest names in the whole wide world, outside of my schnauzers, who have like 6 middle names apiece because they know their mother is creative. The royal family, they have so many names. I remember when Princess Diana, I wasn't there, but I remember seeing the video of Princess Diana and Charles getting married, and she actually said his middle names out of order. There's just so many names. So Prince Harry gave all of his names, and Jake was like, that's a lot of names. I think this is the clip that was used for the teaser. Prince Harry goes, all right, Jake. See, okay, now we got a problem. The Ginger Avenger is not one to be played with. I don't know who Jake thought he was messing with. That part I had to keep pausing this because y'all know I laugh loud and I have a country laugh. I was laughing so loud that I couldn't hear them. I had to keep going back. So finally, Joe Marler shows Prince Harry his H ring. Prince Harry said, he goes, but first, wait, hold on. Before I even get to Prince Harry's response, Joe Marler goes, do you see my ring? And he shows Prince Harry the ring, and Prince Harry's looking at it. He goes, it's an H. Very quietly, he asks, how does that make you feel? I'm sorry, y'all. This podcast feels like they pulled it out of my humor bone, because this is my type of awkward but friendly, non-invasive, non-obtrusive comedy. I love awkward humor, and I love humor like this. It kind of puts you in the hot seat, but in a playful way. Y'all know how I am about mean and cruel humor. I don't believe you have to be cruel or have to be mean or obtuse to be funny. This is my kind of humor to a T, that kind of offbeat, left of center humor. Oh my God, they had me. I sent this to my husband. He's on a flight right now. And I was like, watch this. By the time you land, you will not only be in tears, but you'll probably go back like I did and watch other episodes of this podcast. And he did. But overall, the banter was hilarious. Something that I found out at the beginning of this interview, and I'm so glad he asked this question. Joe Marler asked Prince Harry, what is your favorite trash TV or reality TV? In my mind, I was thinking he's probably going to say like, oh, The Bachelor, or I don't know. What's that show called where the boss shows up to the workplace and like the secret boss show on CBS, I believe. Anyway, I thought he's going to say like, oh, Move That Buzz or whatever. You know, it's been a long time since I watched reality. I'm thinking it's going to be something like that, or even Property Brothers, something like that. Prince Harry said Love Island. Love Island. That means there's a very high probability that Prince Harry is a Nicolandria fan. As if I need more reasons to like him. I'm just going to go ahead and project. Since everybody else can project on Prince Harry, I'm going to project on Prince Harry too. I'm just going to assume by that he means he's a Nicolandria fan, because I love my girl Lalandria and I love Nick. But he said he doesn't watch it. He has watched it, as in he's seen it before, but he liked it. I'll say this about Love Island. I like Love Island, but I can't consume too much of it. They just kiss too much in the mouth for me. I can tell I'm nearing 40 just because you don't have to do all that to get to know each other. So when I was younger and I was watching Flavor of Love, I was in my late teens. I didn't know any better. And I was a prude, so I wasn't kissing nobody. So it didn't matter to me. I was just like, surely these are actors and everybody is acting. And come to find out, no, those people was really all kissing the same man in the mouth. I don't even care that it was Flavor Flav. As a matter of fact, That's fine. Flavor Flav seems like a charming fellow, and we know that he has strong principles. His music is rooted in a lot of the same values that I believe in. He's well off. He's comfortable. He seems like a really nice guy. I don't see anything wrong with Flavor Flav per se, but just a lot of people kissing the same human being just gives me the ick. I would burn my mouth off after that show, but they all did well. So back then it didn't bother me as much, but being an old married lady sitting up with her dogs, I was just kind of like, when I watched the show, I was like, my God, they have to kiss so much in the mouth. There's so many other things that they can make these people do as competitors to test compatibility and all these things where they could get along. Kissing so hard in the mouth, like tongue kissing all these people back to back to back. I'm just like, I know their whole villa is filled with alcohol and alcohol wipes and disinfectants and sprays and all kinds of whatnot. But I just can't believe those people kissing in the mouth. Now y'all can feel shame because now you know the eyes of Prince Harry laid upon you while you were doing those tawdry deeds. Just kidding. I'm not judging. Oh no, enjoy your summer. But also, this is when Jake solidified himself as my guy. This is my guy. Because he asked Prince Harry, have you ever seen the show I Want to Marry Harry? When I tell you, I almost threw my phone across the room because it's not like I wasn't thinking it at one point or another. When I first heard about that show, I said, I wonder if Prince Harry has ever seen this. And I wonder how that makes him feel. Does it make him feel like, oh my God, this is so scary? Or does it just blow his ego up? Or does he like wake up and he just pop his collar? Like what does this show make you feel? Because you don't only have, I think it was 14 women competed, but you have probably hundreds, possibly even thousands of women who tried to audition for the show. So, hey man, I'm sure that was a pretty nice pat on the back. He said that he knew about it. He didn't say whether or not he saw it, or at least if he said so, I didn't see that part, but he said he knew about it. And the reason he knew about the show existing, they asked him to participate. I said, what producer was that bold to reach out to a royal family member? And as y'all know, I call Prince Harry the royal family member with 2 E's, like Meghan the Stallion, Prince the Harry, who reached out to Harry and was like, hey, we have a cheap and tawdry reality show based around people wanting to marry you in a competition that we know will never result in marriage for you. You are already emotionally and mentally betrothed to a very special woman you have yet to meet. Your heart is already intertwined with someone else. Your soulmate is out there, but we still want to have a little fun. Would you like to be on this show? Could you imagine if Prince Harry had agreed to show up to the finale of that show? The types of behaviors and solicitous behaviors and actions from those ladies that would have created. Could you imagine? And I've never seen the show, but I will say this. It has awakened the cheapest and tawdriest side of me to want to go find that show, watch it in full, and get to the end to see who won. And then see how she's doing now and see if she married a ginger, or as Prince Harry would say, a Summer Auburn. We have to see. I will say this. Whoever she was, I hope she's doing well in life and I hope she had a good time. But that premise is very funny because they know it's not going to result in them marrying Harry. They just want to be the person who wants to marry him the most with no guarantee that they will. Like, imagine someone saying, I'm going to start a competition of 14 women competing for who wants a Reese's peanut butter cup right now the most. First of all, I would win. Nobody is seeing me when it comes to competing for a Reese's peanut butter cup. I will do anything for a Reese's peanut butter cup. There's nothing in the world should have you in a chokehold the way Reese's peanut butter cups have me in a chokehold. It is absolutely disgusting. I am feral for them. I love them, which is why I don't eat them, because I can't eat just one. But if there were a competition where I had to compete to prove how much I love them, but I still didn't get one in the end, what was the point? This is just torture. So I have to go find this show, but I do need to ask something of you all. If you have seen the Reese's, not the Reese's peanut butter cup, this is why I need a co-host to keep me on track. If you have seen the I Want to Marry Harry show, please tell me that you've seen that and what did you think of it? Was it an enjoyable watch? Was it funny? Did you enjoy that? Tell me all about it in the comment section. Please do. And I might even dedicate a video to talking about your experiences if enough people comment that they watched it. I want to know what your thoughts are on that show, and I'm probably going to go find it somewhere. But I find it funny that they asked Prince Harry to be on it. He was unavailable. He didn't say that it was something he would never do or that he would have never done that. He said he wasn't available. I I said, he is the most gracious person. Like, he refuses to not look down on people, but he refuses to put people down or to minimize or dismiss people. He just, because I'm pretty sure, I can't say this, I would imagine that Prince Harry wouldn't do something like that. Like, he wouldn't have been on that kind of show, especially around that time, 2014. You know, Queen Elizabeth was still the monarch at that point, and they all had a lot of protocols and things like that, a lot of restrictions. So I doubt he would have been able to do that show, or would have even chosen to do that show, even if it was just showing up at the finale. That just doesn't sound likely. But instead of saying that, he said he wasn't available. I said, oh, dignified class act. And also, you hussies better stay away from Meghan's man. I'm not going to tell you again. All this time later, I'm not going to tell you again. But anyway, I thought that was very funny. Then they get into the conversation about how do you deal with stress? And Prince Harry mentioned something that I think is extremely profound. He's now had 2 quotes in 2 days that I have really taken a liking to. First, he talked about sometimes it's just a bad day. When that young lady asked him at the the Scotty's Little Soldiers Festival, summer festival, the young lady asked him, the 9-year-old little girl asked him, how do you deal with stress, or how do you deal with having a bad day? What do you do to cheer yourself up? And he says, sometimes a bad day is just a bad day. And then he went on to give her tips to try and alleviate some of that, which I just thought was such a profound answer and something that will stick with that young lady forever. But this, he mentioned, when you have angst and anxiety and frustration built up in your body, when you have that built up in your body, it's important to move around. So not only is exercise good for you because it's enjoyable, it keeps you fit, it helps you live longer, it's healthy, but as he put it, you've got to move that shit around the body. And I could not agree more. Yes, you have to move the body. When things are built up, you have to move the body. The body keeps the score. I remember the first time I did a deep hip stretch. And I've been stretching my whole life. I was in dance. I was a drill team dance member for a long time. I danced ballet, jazz dance, all kinds of dance. I used to always be in those summer camps. And growing up, I've just stretching is part of my life. And so I've always stretched. I've done deep stretches. I've done yoga. I've done all kinds of things. But I once went to this stretch class in Orlando. I can't remember who it was that did who orchestrated it, but I went to this stretch class in Orlando that was called the deep hip stretch class. And I think it might've been somatic. I'm not sure. I don't want to mislabel it. But anyway, she mentioned at the top of the session that people often cry. And I didn't cry, but I did feel a lump in my throat once we got to certain parts of the stretch. And then the attendants came to kind of push parts of you down. There was a lump in my throat. There was this exasperation. And I did feel like these like deep sighs of relief. It just felt like it was releasing tension and a lot of air that was like trapped in my chest and in my hips and in my lower back. And it was insane. And when I asked her about it, I was like, what is that? What is that? And she was like, that's when I read The Body Keeps the Score. She was like, you should read this. There's a lot of tension and trauma and I can't remember the word she used, but sometimes when we suppress and repress emotion, it will take up stock in places within our body. And deep stretching helps to release that. And it is very much an impactful thing to do, is to move the body and stretch your body. And she was just talking about stretching. Since then, I've taken working out as not just healthcare, but like a mental health asset as well. And it has definitely served me. So that was the first part of the interview. And then they welcome in JJ Chalmers, who was a competitor for the Invictus Games Foundation, or the Invictus Games. And now he's part of the Invictus Games Foundation, and he helps to promote the games, and he attends, etc. So JJ Chalmers, he is a Scottish television presenter, but he is also an Invictus Games medalist, and now he works with Prince Harry in the Invictus Games to promote the games. He attends the games, etc. I'm pretty sure he has a lot more responsibilities than that. But he is very much intertwined with the games, and they are very much a big deal to him. And I love that he was able to express the impact that the games have had on him. And he credits the games and being part of that as an asset in saving his life. I mean, that's a big deal. And I love that he was able to share that impact about the games in front of Prince Harry. Prince Harry gives me the vibe of someone who is just very humble, and He's all about the work in front of him and doing the work for other people. And those are the people who deserve their flowers the most, in my opinion, because those are the people who aren't actively seeking it out. And it can be a long time before someone has an opportunity, or they allow someone even to stop and say, you did a thing. And my God, did it have an impact. And I love that he was able to share that in front of Prince Harry. And this is one of those things that is just true about life in general. There are very few things that are as impactful as third-party compliments. Hearing someone give you a compliment to someone else, overhearing it feels a lot more authentic. And it's actually a tool to motivate people, actually. It's something that professionals use to motivate their team a lot of times. But regardless, I love that he was able to share the impact of Invictus with Prince Harry and Joe Marler and Jake. I'm not going to leave Jake out. But I love that he was able to express that. I thought that was great. And he was very honest and very heartfelt and vulnerable. And I love that he was able to share that. Something else Joe Marler asked was, what is Prince Harry like when he gets pissed? Now, I'm American, so pissed to me meant angry. And I thought, what an odd question. No. Pissed. And I was glad Prince Harry mentioned this. You can tell Prince Harry has been living in America for a while, because he does a great job of when a term means two different things in two different places, he calls it out so that everyone can stay abreast on it. And he was like, you mean drunk, right? And he was like, yes. Or you mean drinking? And Joe Marler was like, yes. So he was asking, what is Prince Harry like when he gets drunk? And JJ Chalmers mentioned that when they spend time together, because it is surrounding Invictus, it's usually at galas and fundraising events and things like that. So while they are having a good time, it is not a hard partying atmosphere. And so he's never seen Prince Harry in that situation. And then somehow the conversation deviated to, has he ever, there's no pretty way to say this. Has he ever shat himself? And JJ Chalmers was like, I don't think so. I'd imagine when he was in the jungle in the army, I'm assuming. And then Joe Marler and Prince Harry was like, what? No. He was like, he looked really shocked at the accusation. He looked rightfully upset about it. He looked like the American pissed, because how dare you? No jokes, all jokes aside. But Joe Marler mentioned that he has shat himself before, and that became a conversation for quite some time. But that was very funny. And then, of course, JJ Chalmers, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. JJ Chalmers mentioned how Birmingham is such an impactful city to the Invictus Foundation, and how that is where the spirit was born when he was hit with, he was bombed in Afghanistan. And the last thing he remembers was being bombed. And then he remembered waking up sometime later in the hospital in Birmingham. And that was the experience for a lot of people. And that is where that Invictus spirit was birthed, and how Birmingham is a full circle location for everyone. So to have the Invictus Games back there again is a full circle moment for many reasons, not just for him, but for the organization in and of itself. And he did a great job of expressing that, of the city of Birmingham is part of Invictus Games, not just the United Kingdom, not London, not anywhere, Birmingham specifically. And I thought, what a wonderful thing to say. Again, I really, really hope that something shakes next year so that Meghan and the children are able to engage and be present. But like I said, again, the security thing shouldn't even be an issue to begin with. I find it to be really silly and redundant when I have to say, like, they deserve their security back, because to me, it feels in part that I'm negating the fact that they should have never lost it to begin with. And they should have never lost it to begin with because it shouldn't even be an option. It shouldn't even be an option for them to have security. That should be permanent. That should be one of those things that you don't question. Anyway, sorry. Simmer down, simmer down. We have a year. I'm hoping that something is able to be done so that Meghan and the children can be there, and the security is reinstated, and everybody can just go on about their merry little way. In addition to that, I also know that the Invictus arena and the Invictus area, and the area that the Invictus Games will be on, the campus, I can't remember what it's called. Is it the Invictus neighborhood, the Invictus campus? I can't remember. But again, like I said before, there's probably no safer place to be in the world than surrounded by trained assassins. So, but again, all that aside, they still should have their security, and it shouldn't even be a question. So I say that to say, I hope something works, because hearing the impact of Birmingham on the Invictus Games and hearing how Birmingham is just part of the Invictus Games and the deep meaning behind it, it just sounds like something I would be personally aggrieved to find out that Meghan was unable to attend. And I will take that personally, not against the Invictus Games, but against Ravek and Charles and the government, the whole government. Just add them all in there. I just feel like none of this should be happening, and she and the children shouldn't have to question whether they're safe when they go places, not only with her husband and their father, but in his mother country, a country where he is a royal. There should be no safer place for him to be. They should be able to say, the rest of the world, we need security, blah, blah, blah. But back in the United Kingdom, it's not a question. And we know we're going to be secure from the rooter to the tutor, no matter what, no matter how long we're there, no matter what we're doing, because this is my husband's mother country. And he is the prince of this country. And he served 2 tours in Afghanistan. Like, he actually served the crown valiantly. But above all else, he is a royal. It shouldn't even be a question. He had no say in the matter. You politicize and you publicize his image, and then you leave him out to dry when you don't like what he's doing personally based on your own bigoted biases. I don't see how anyone could argue in anyone else's perspective. That's just unfair. But y'all have heard me rant and rave about this, but if at any point, if anybody ever plays this for Prince Harry, please know that I think it's bullshit that you and your family aren't guaranteed security. Anyway. No, don't play that for him. I don't want that to be his introduction to me. Just me caterwauling on a mic. But anyway, the interview, it was a great balance of humor and seriousness, and they did a great job of not making the switches feel abrupt or blunt. I thought Joe Marler did a wonderful job of sharing not only his giving his flowers to Prince Harry for the work he's done with Invictus and what a great guest he was, but to JJ Chalmers as well, and talked about the impact of their work and their experience and how impactful that is to the world. And he did a great job as a host. He is funny. He was very funny. He was very witty, but make no mistake about it, he was the consummate professional. He did a great job. Sometimes when you have a host who's very funny or very witty or kind of goes with like the bro humor kind of energy, sometimes they're not the best interviewers. Kind of like celebrity interviewers, sometimes they're not the best because they have a shtick and they work so hard to stick to the shtick that they lose the actual art of journalism or just being an interviewer. I did not feel like that was the case here. Joe Marler did a wonderful job, as did Jake, and I think they have perfected the balance of 2 people interviewing 1 to 2 people without overlapping each other and without it becoming redundant or too much humor to the point where it's just not fun anymore and it's silly. They did a good job. Now, one thing I will say to Jake, the fact that Jake did not feel like Michael Jordan was one of the most recognizable faces in the world, I said, now, Jake, I'm with you when you're right, but I'm not with you when you're wrong. I want to be like Mike. That campaign, maybe it's the millennial in me, but Michael Jordan can't go anywhere without being recognized. The head alone, no features, just the top of the head alone is iconic. People know Michael Jordan's milk dud head. Anyway, I'm sorry. At the beginning, they were talking about who are the most recognizable faces in the world. Obviously, they said Prince Harry. He also said he didn't think LeBron James. I said, now, Jake, I hope that we're not dealing with him. Maybe he's just not a fan of basketball. Let's assume that. Maybe that's the case. He's just not familiar with NBA players because, again, that is here in the U.S. Although you do get to see them in the Olympics, but that's beside the point. But Jake said he didn't feel like LeBron James or Michael Jordan were among the most recognizable faces in the world, and I was completely shocked. He also said he thought Mr. Bean was. Now that I will agree. I do think Mr. Bean is, but I also think at this moment in history, LeBron James is one of the most recognizable faces. But in any point in history since the early 90s, Michael Jordan is absolutely one of the most recognizable faces in the world, especially in sports. And Joe Marler did not take that kindly, and I don't blame him. But anyway, besides that, it was a wonderful interview. Prince Harry was excellent. JJ Chalmers was excellent. I felt like the hosts were great. Aside from my criticism of Jake, watch some NBA games, Jake. Anyway, those are my thoughts. You guys let me know, what did you think of the interview? For Patreon, the interview is up in full, so feel free to let me know what your thoughts are. But for those of you who watched it here, and if you have yet to watch it here, feel free to go use the link in the description box below to go check it out on their channel. And please don't forget to engage with all things that are positive about Harry and Meghan, so that the algorithms know that that is what we want, not the other stuff. Ignore the other stuff completely and then come over here, let's talk shit about them. But don't engage with bad stuff about them. Even if we're telling them off, we're still giving them some engagement. We don't want that. So those are my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick recap and my personal review. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that more people can find us. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.